Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and I have another great show for you tonight. We're going to be looking at, odd creatures and spirits tonight. Very weird things that go on in the world and having some fun. But first, while we wait for people to gather in the chat, let me go off and show off some artwork for my own upcoming graphic novel, Scumdogs, okay? Let me go to share screen. Here we go. Here is my extreme 90s cover. This cover I did to harken back to the comic books of the 90s. Looks pretty good, huh? This cover I did because I wanted to really harken back to those comic books. It looks pretty awesome with the characters in a giant battle. This cover has almost all of my characters that will be appearing in my graphic novel in it. Now, the Scumdogs, the name of my graphic novel, is a parody comic book. I parody the cartoons from the 80s and any other thing I want to parody as well. But mostly, you'll see characters that will remind you of cartoons from the 80s and characters that look like them. Now, the title characters, Scumdogs, the title characters is about, the comic book is about supervillains who are going to take over the universe and who keep screwing up at doing it. Now, on this cover, you can see my two main characters, Deathmug and Buick Starpoon. Deathmug is the leader of the Scumdogs. He's an arrogant dictator who wants to rule the world. See, the Scumdogs used to compete in sporting events known as the Scumdog Sports. Sporting events held with superhuman monsters as the pro athletes. See, they're called scum and dogs because they traded in their humanity for superpowers. Well, to become superhumanly powerful monsters to compete in these sporting events. So you get the idea they're not exactly good people because they're not human anymore. But what happens when they get banned from sports? Well, the Scumdogs just decide to take over the universe because, they're superhumanly powerful monsters. Deathmug leads them and stuff like that. He's the purple guy with the metal mask. He's based on various villains from 80s cartoons. Like Skeletor, he has a skull face. Like Skeletor from He-Man, he has a skull face. Like the leaders of Cobra from G.I. Joe, he's got, a metal mask like Cobra Commander. He's got gold on him like the Shred, like Serpentor. And he's purple like the Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. See the way he looks? Well, on this cover, you can see him fighting his archenemy, Buick Starpoon, the guy with the pink pompadour hair over there. He's basically him, and the rest of his team in the Space Forces are all G.I. Joe parodies. He's mostly a parody of Duke from G.I. Joe, but he's also, as you can see from the uniform, anyone wearing a similar uniform to his uniform, his green and white uniform on this cover, is part of his team in the Space Forces. He also looks like a character from a space opera, like Star Trek or Star Wars. He's based on various hero characters like that as well, like Zap Brannigan, Captain Kirk from Star Trek, Buzz Lightyear, or Buck Rogers, those kinds of characters. He's an arrogant military guy who never admits he's wrong, even though he keeps doing the wrong thing and making the situation worse. That's Buick Starpoon. Now, the other members of his team you can see on this cover as well. This guy over here in the dark blue and white uniform with the mohawk, his name is Roadhog. His military specialty, because they're all G.I. Joe characters, that means they each have a military specialty, something the military they do. Yeah. His military specialty is that he's an army guy. He was part of the army. Then we have this we have this bald guy with a gun down here. His name is Beach Pounder. His military specialty is that he's a Marine, just another Marine. Then we have this guy back here in the red uniform driving that vehicle. His name is Blast Tank. His military specialty is that he's a heavy vehicle specialist, a tanker. Now, this covers one of 3 different variant covers you can back for Indiegogo, and it looks, good, don't you think? All right. Let's go over and look at some more characters. Over here we have Girl Friday. Girl Friday is another member of the Wild Rangers. The Wild Rangers is the name of Buick Starpoon's team in the Space Forces. You see, she was assigned to work directly under Buick Starpoon as his lieutenant, under him and stuff like that. Because while the Wild Rangers fight the Scumdogs and save the universe, They're just morons whose idea of saving something is basically destroying it. So her superiors basically didn't want criticism, so they sent Girl Friday to work directly under, well, to work as Buick Starpoon's second in command, and basically, well, try and direct him and the scumdogs try and direct them to saving the day and basically not basically causing as much collateral damage as possible. And she hates him. She hates Buick Starpoon. She hates her job because she feels like her career in the military is over, because she's a little better than a sitter. You know, she sits and watches Buick Starpoon and tries and makes him do the right thing. And she hates that. She hates her job. She hates her job. All right. Now, please, folks, if you can, hit that like button for me, because it really helps me fight the algorithm. The more people that hit that like button means my graphic novel Scumdogs comes out all the sooner. But also, remember, if you want to watch this video as soon as I'm done streaming, go to my Twitter page at 777megachris1 on Twitter. It will be the first pinned tweet, because YouTube basically buries my videos, and if you want to see it again as soon as possible, go to my Twitter page at 77megachris1. Oh, you'll be able to watch it on my YouTube channel too, but they bury it for hours. They bury my newest videos for hours. As well as, please, folks, please hit that bell. Hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications for my videos as well. And also, please go share this video out on Twitter and Facebook. All right, now we're going to look at Death and Mug's henchmen, because in all 80s cartoons, the main villain of the cartoon would have henchmen, and they'd be total idiots. These are my idiots. All right. The pink guy down here is Sloppy, and the blue guy up here with the top hat is Murdermouth. There are a couple of morons that do whatever Death Mug says, but they keep screwing up and destroying everything around them. They're just going to be fun when you read about them in my graphic novel. All right. Let's see what else is there to say. Oh, yeah. Here, now let's look at Hair Metal Doctor. Hair Metal Doctor is a parody of Dr. He is a parody of Dr. Mindbender from G.I. Joe, a mad scientist. But my mad scientist here has been crossed over with a hair metal musician, because that's awesome. He thinks of all the machines and crazy machines the scumdogs use to try and take over the universe. He does it while rocking out. He's Hair Metal Doctor. And here we have Miss Breasty Melons, who's basically a parody of that Baroness from G.I. Joe. The Baroness being an evil villainess and stuff like that, but Miss Breasty Melons here only became a villainess to have fun. She only signed up with the scumdogs to be a villain for fun. She's only doing this to have fun. Well, she's only being evil for fun. All right, now, the Hair Metal Doctor pinup and the Miss Breasty Melons pinup you see here will be included with other pinups in my graphic novel when you back it. But I will also get these pinups out to you from T-shirts from Crypto Fashion as soon as I'm able to make them. So look out for those as well. Now, I looked at this. Let's go to Indiegogo real quick and see if there's anything new on those. And hit that like button for me, will you, folks? Let's go over here. Indiegogo. Let me go up here. Let's see. Black Ops has done pretty well. God Like the Romulus Saga has made 188,387. Not bad. Let's see. Edge of the Galaxy's first issue, Manhattan Comics. All right. Grant. All right. Ethan Van Sciver's Cyber Frog Starfolio is made 139,000 with 2 days left. Okay. God Like the Romulus Saga has made 189,364 with 29 days left. Let's see. Let's see what they. Yeah. This comic book is everything I loved about the magic of Saturday morning comic books, anime, and cinema. Best described as Star Wars meets John Carter. All hope for humanity is gone, so we thought. John Malin, Jawbreakers, returns to reinvigorate the American superhero. 10,000 years from now, a new dark age is upon us. One man haunted by visions of a bygone age in a mythical world known as Earth must remember his past to save the last of humanity on a distant dying world, age where magic and super science are one. To kill a god, a champion must become godlike. Ah, that looks good. Yeah, you can back this book for $25, but you can also back the Godlike Supplemental, which is basically a 48-page. Well, Godlike is 48 pages. The supplemental for it is also 48 pages, but you come with 2 stories in it. You can also get Visions, which is a pinup book, so that is also good, with sexy pictures of that, sexy comic book characters. Let's see. Various artists will draw their own femme fatale protagonists from their respective projects in a sexy pinup. Discover a whole new world of talent characters. And here's some of the artwork. Not bad. This campaign also has stretch goals. 115,000 unlocked. All backers will receive a print from Josie from 120,000 stretch goal unlocked. Trading card. You get a trading card, and you get a trading. You get a trading card, and you get a trading card. Everyone will receive a trading card unique from the one built into the tiers. 125,000 unlocked. We will host an upcoming art contest. First place will receive 500, and the winning piece will be featured in a full page spread in Godlike. 135,000 unlocked. We're adding 8 more pages to Visions 2. 145,000 is a new and unique trading card. 150,000 all new print by Kang Lee. A new print. All right. 160,000 art contest upgrade. First place will receive an additional 500 for a total of 1,000. 170,000 unlocked. All backers receive a Godlike print by Clayton. 180,000 on all backers receive a Godlike sticker and a new trading card. 190,000 locked. Oh, 180,000 locked. Oh, it should be unlocked soon. All backers receive Godlike snake. 109,000 locked. Art contest upgrade. First place will receive an additional 500 for a total of 1,500 plus a new print for all backers. 200,000. If we hit 200,000 in the first 30 days, we will add 10 pages to the supplemental book and add an additional 500 towards the art contest for a total of 2,000. 210,000 locked. All backers receive a new print from the series creator. 225,000 locked. If we hit 225,000 in the first 30 days, we will add an all new 20 pages to the supplemental saying fresh jobs and all new creative team, writer, artist, colorist, additional 500. Not bad. Not bad at all. This looks pretty good, huh, folks? This got you can back it for, it's got 29 days left and it's made 189,000 and doing well. Let's go look at this. All right, that was Godlike. It looks pretty good, like a pretty good book. You can back it for $25, folks. We looked at this, not too bad. Maybe I should go on, look at Odd Creatures and Very Weird Things, because we got a few articles like that. When a strange creature might really be a specter of the night. Let's take a look at this one. Dark, cold, and windswept night in early 1879. The location fringes of a centuries-old little village, centuries-old in central England. A man is crossing a large stone. uh, Central England. A man is crossing a large stone bridge. Yeah, this is the story. We're going to be, as I said before, we're going to be looking at odd creatures and spirits tonight, folks. Weird things that people have seen in the world. Stone bridge that spans an ancient canal. His only company on that night is a fitful horse, which is dutifully pulling behind it in a battered, aged wooden cart. After a busy day spent moving furniture, the man is tired, hungry, and thirsty. He decides to make a welcome stop at the village's pleasant inn for a pint or two of beer and a hot meal. Unfortunately, and before he can do so, fate intervenes. It does so just in about the same traumatic and horrific way possible. The man is barely halfway across the bridge when suddenly, out of the thick bushes and trees that surround the bridge and which dominate the canal, a large chimpanzee like beast, a big ape creature sporting wild glowing eyes, leaps out of the darkness and charges in his direction for a moment. Pardon me, folks. He is paralyzed to the spot, gripped by an overwhelming cold fear. At the very last moment, however, the infernal monster swerves to one side, makes a leap aboard the cart, terrifying the poor horse in the process. The crazed, shaggy man monster stands tall, imposing, its legs spread wide and its arms waving towards the heavens in wild fashion. The man quickly gathers his wits, grabs the horse's whip, and proceeds to beat the beast to a pulp. At least that is what he tries to do. This, to his internal horror, the whip passes right through the body of the ape-like thing that is raging before him. In his state of near hysteria, the man can only conclude that he missed the animal, so he strikes it again. Once more, the whip has absolutely no effect, other than to demonstrate that the monster is one of spectral rather than flesh and blood proportions. Before he can decide what to do next, the monster leaps off the cart and races towards an old dusty path that leads down to the shadowy canal below it. In seconds, it is out of sight. The man takes a deep breath and calms his fright horse, and he carefully scans the area. Thankfully, the monster does not return, at least not tonight. It doesn't. He just had an encounter with a highly dangerous monster that is destined to quickly become known as the man monkey. It's time to calm those frightened nerves and to share the traumatic experience with new friends over a couple of flagons of old English. Alcohol stuff, flagons of beer. The story I have just told you is not one of fiction. In fact, it's far from it. It is all terrifyingly real. As I said, we're getting right to this, folks, and having some fun looking at these odd stories of odd creatures and spirits in the night. The date was January 21st. Well, in the 18th century. Right? The 79th year of that century. The location was Bridge 39, which spans centuries-old Shepsfair Union Canal. The village was Brunton, situated in the English country, an ancient hamlet, which dates back approximately 1,000 years, and the pub in which the scared witless soul told his story to an audience of frightened locals with the 17th century era Hand and Cleaver Inn. Since that fateful night, more than 24 reports have been made of this strange, sinister creature, which can be best described as something akin to a spectral, ghostly Bigfoot. Since that fateful night, more than 24 reports have been made of this strange and sinister creature, which can be described as something akin to a spectral, ghostly Bigfoot. The first person to ever investigate the saga of the man monkey, a 19th century writer, Charlotte Byrne. She was a woman with deep passion for and extensive knowledge of Staffordshire history and legend. She quickly paid Renton a visit. In doing so, she soon gained the confidence of the people of the village and even spoke with the local police about the macabre mystery. It was the latter conversation that led to something notable. The village's solitary police constable confided in Byrne that saying of the man monkey had begun just 3 weeks earlier. Not only that, the encounters kicked off just 2 days after a local man drowned in the canal, and only around 50 feet from where the large bridge continues to stand to this very day, barely a stone's throw away from the darkness where the man monkey just emerged. It's intriguing to note that at the time there was a belief in the area that people who died in violent fashions were destined to return in the forms of monstrous beasts. More than a few of the village folk in the area had believed in such a scenario. So we have basically shapeshifters here or something. Sounds very odd, doesn't it, folks? Very, very odd. Here, let me exit out of this. We have other weird creatures as well. Mysterious menagerie of lesser-known lake monsters. We can look at those as well. As we get into this cryptid corner and having some fun tonight, feel free to leave me a few chats, folks. And we'll have some more fun. Yesterday was a pretty good video as well. I talked about extra-dimensional creatures, other things about the other Earth that was made of dark matter and stuff like that. Not actually evil creatures, but creatures that basically talking about how all matter in the universe has maybe dark matter surrounding it, and how this dark matter could be the place that spirits go to when they die. Or if you want to watch the video, go and look at it. It's my newest video. You can find it on YouTube as well as on my Twitter page at 77megachris1. It's not pinned anymore, but you should be able to easily find it and see a link to it. Let's get to this article about lake monsters, folks. When one think of lake monsters, the first one that will come to mind for the mainstream casual reader is the Loch Ness Monster of Scotland. Some may bring up Lake Champion, Lake Champlain in the United States, but those are the two rock stars of the lake monster world, practically synonymous with the phenomenon of lake monsters. Yet it was a big world with many lakes, and at times it seems as if pretty much any large body of water has had its very own lake monsters. Some of these have gone on to become quite well known, while others have fallen through the cracks to be forgotten. And here we will look at an assortment of some of the unsung, lesser known monsters out there. Well, monsters in lakes. Yes, monsters out there. All right. One lake monster that is notorious, and it's a native land of Norway, little known elsewhere, supposedly makes its lair in Lake Selvars. Should I even try to pronounce that name, folks? Near Telemark, Norway. The lake is. I'm just going to skip its name because the lake, name after all. The lake itself is quite ancient, going back to when a glacier melted, form its waters, and it measures about 12 miles long and 1.5 miles wide, with much of its shoreline rugged and forested. Here and there, it is said to lurk an enormous monster called Seljaman Zordsman. Okay? Or it also named Selma, typically described 30 to 45 feet, serpent-like creature like a giant swimming snake, occasionally reported as having humps on its back and having a head like a dragon. The history of Selma. It goes back to at least the 19th century, and there have been many well-known reports over the years, often with a taste of the sensational. There is one famous story of a man named Bjorn Borge, who was at the lake with his mother Gunhild one day when the water supposedly surged and froth. Monster came rushing towards them. According to Bjorn, he attacked the serpent with a sword and managed to hack it in half, after which the lower half thrashed about to fall back into the lake. The upper half and head died upon the shore and was left there to rot. And indeed, many reports of some men have traditionally described the creature as being rather aggressive and territorial, known to attack animals. Or people attack animals or people on the shore, as well as boats that venture too deep into their territory. In the 1900s, there were several reports of the creature, such as one in 1918, which described the large serpent with a head like a horse that came rushing to the witness's boat before suddenly sinking below the waves to disappear. The creature was occasionally spotted venturing into land as well. In 1920, a witness named Evan here, I'm just going to call him that. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name, Evan here, who was out fishing at the lake. He saw a serpentine creature about 15 to 20 meters long and with a head like a crocodile. Two fin-like feet on its front portion exit the water and start making its way up into the rocks on shore, moving very much like a snake would. When it realized it was being washed, it apparently quickly turned around to slither back into the water and disappear. Sightings have happened in more modern times as well, such as 1996, account from two fishermen who claimed the creature's head had risen 10 feet into the air right in front of them to stare at them before splashing back down into the depths. And another even more recent report, 2001, a father and son, who were at the lake saw a giant snake around 30 feet long, as thick as a car's tire, and with a head as big as a calf's. At the water's edge, they looked on, and all the creatures suddenly spun around and glared at them before slipping into the water to disappear into the gloom. There have been attempts to catch one of the creatures by several expeditions, but none have ever found any evidence of anything unusual in the lake. Canada has a few obscure lake monsters as well. One of them is said to inhabit Great Slave Lake, which is the second largest lake in the Northwest Territories of Canada and the 10th largest lake in the world. The massive lake covers an area of 10,962 square miles and is more than 2,015 feet deep, making it perhaps a feasible place for a mysterious water creature to be hiding. Indeed, there have been many such reports over the years. Fishermen and pleasure boaters have often told of hitting, a thing large and even in the very deep, and there have been sightings of a large dark shape cruising below the surface or moving like hump on the surface of the mid-surface. Mid-1990s, some divers in the lake looking for the body of a man who had fallen through the ice in winter claimed to have seen an enormous creature with an alligator-like body with a head like that of a pike, which swam off into the murk. The most famous and recent sighting of the monster of Great Slave Lake is probably that of a Roman Catholic priest, Father Jim Lynn, who in 2004 looked up from his home on the shores of the lake near Yellowknife. Is said to have seen a large dragon-headed creature that rose 6 to 8 feet above the water and moved at a very fast rate of speed. This report hit the news at the time and brought in a deluge of other sightings in the vicinity of Yellowknife Bay. Also in Canada is a creature said to lurk in the Muxworth Lake about 75 miles northwest of Ottawa, Ontario, which has been spoken of since the days before the white settlers came to this land, even rumored to have been mentioned by the early explorer Samuel. Ottawa. It is also quite probably one of the most bizarre lake monsters in Canada or anywhere else, for the matter, affectionately called Mussy. The creature is supposedly a giant serpent with 3 eyes, 2 horse-like ears, with another ear in the center of the head, a long tongue and sharp teeth. The whole thing has the feel of a piece of folklore that has taken on a life of its own, but there have been occasional sightings of the creature in the lake. Within author Michael Bradley searched for the monster in 1998. Using sonar, he captured an image of 2 creatures, 6 by 8 feet, 1.8 to 2.45 meters long, at a depth of 24 feet, 7.3 meters. It seemed to be undulating vertically. What kind of strange beast is lurking in Muskett Lake, if any who knows? Also in Canada, the place at Lake Swashut, Lake of British Columbia, a popular recreation destination for people from all over the region. It doesn't particularly seem like a place where most people would expect the Mansian lake monster to reside, but there have apparently been obscure reports of just such a thing going back to at least 1904. This case, an enormous gray-black monster, variously said as resembling a gigantic eel, something with mammalian in nature like whale, dolphin, or eel, aquatic thing, and which is affectionately known locally as this. Do I have to say its name? Well, maybe Seshwagi. This serpent, according to a cryptozoologist Adam Benlett at the Pine Barrens Institute. What do you think about these monsters, folks? If you have any ideas what they are, please leave me a few comments. I mean, are people actually seeing these creatures, spirits, and odd creatures like this? I mean, it's very interesting to talk about. I mean, why do you think that people would hallucinate this if they do? Why such creatures? A lot of them sound like they could be like they're from just made up tales, but if these creatures actually exist, do you think they're thought forms like tulpas, or do you think they actually exist, folks? Are they actually real creatures like this? What the thing is about this, a lot of these creatures probably do exist. I'm telling you this because they have found evidence in these lakes and stuff like that, in Loch Ness Lake, of the evidence of DNA for giant eels. So a lot of these things could be misidentified giant eels and stuff. So yeah, lake monsters exist. They just happen to be these giant eels and stuff. So that's interesting to talk about. Let's see. Also, folks, Feel free to leave me a few chats and hit that like button for me. The more people that hit that like button means more people will see my content, and the more people that see my content means my graphic novel Scumdogs comes out all the sooner. Remember, folks, if you want to watch this video again as soon as I'm done streaming, go to my Twitter page at 77MakeItChris1. It will be the first pinned tweet. And also, folks, please hit that bell. Hit that part of the bell that gives you all future notifications for my videos. Yeah, all future notifications for my videos. Yeah, hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications for my videos. As well as please go share this video out on Twitter and Facebook and Gab. Also, let's go check this. See if you guys have hit that like button. Not doing too bad there. Also, let's get back to this article. It doesn't particularly seem like a place where people must respect the menacing. Also, yeah. Where was it? Yeah, according to cryptozoologist Adam Benedict of the Pines Barren Institute, cryptozoologist Adam Benedict of the Pine Barrens Institute, who has uncovered many of these obscure reports through his research, supposedly in 1904, a local native hunter from the area Smarket tribe, Sisapemic tribe. Should I read that? Actually managed to kill and skin one of the creatures, which is said to look like the hide of an enormous bear, but with an aquatic webbed feet. Concerning it was sold off to a trading post shortly after. The skin has become lost to history and could have been anything. Other sightings, although sporadic and rare, have been come in since 1948. There was an encounter reported by a fisherman who claimed that his boat was nearly capsized. The creature who did it, then it was seen again by a group of people having a birthday party on the lakeside of 1970 and near again in 1984. His family's boat, considering the rarity of sightings and the rather crowded nature of the lake in modern times, one wonders what the creature could have possibly been, and if it might have gone extinct before it was ever classified. The United States has its fair share of lesser-known lake monsters as well. One of the strangest of these is a bizarre beast that was sighted in Charlotte Mill Lake in Ohio, March 28, 1959. 3 young men, names of Danny Patterson, Wayne, and Michael Lane, were visiting the lake near a swampy area when out of the muck, a completely outlandish beast emerged that they would never forget. The creature was truly bizarre, standing 7 feet tall, amphibious, humanoid, with luminous green eyes, large webbed feet, and most oddly of all, having no arms at all. At the time, the terrified boys ran for their lives, but when they came back later, they would find tracks in the mud that looked like they had been made by the footgear worn by skin divers. Another monster supposedly haunts Lake Pend Aurelio in Idaho, which is the 5th deepest lake in the United States, and with a surface area of 148 square miles, 380 kilometers, and 43 miles, 69 kilometers long, called the Paddler. This creature is said to be 20 feet long, gunmetal gray serpent-like creature that moves up and down in the water as it swims and leaves a large V-shaped wave in its wake. There have been only sporadic sightings of the creature, though some have been rather dramatic, such as a 1944 incident in which a young girl was allegedly attacked by the monster while wading in shallow water. There have been some expeditions to the lake to look for the creatures, such as one carried out by North Idaho College professor named Charles R. McLeod in 1984, and these have turned up nothing. And Lake Tahoe, which lies on the border between California and Nevada and the Sierra Nevada mountain range, there is yet another strange lake monster said to prowl about the lake itself. In North America, the largest alpine lake and second deepest in the United States, known for its majestic forest and mountain scenery and outdoor recreation activities. But what many people don't know is that also supposes its own monster. The native Washoe and Putub tribes of the lake of the area have said of a giant lake serpent that lurked in an underwater cave in the lake, and when settlers came, they also began to report seeing a large serpentine creature, dark coloration, lurking in the depths here. Of the most famous sightings, what is probably known as Tessie supposedly happened 1950s, when two off-duty police officers saw a large black hump on the water moving at a speed around 60 miles per hour. Another witness saw the beast in 1979. He would say of his encounter. Interesting. Let's get more into this. Myself, along with three others, watched a large serpent-like creature feeding, hunting in a school of large trout. It was in the middle of a winter in 1979 off the rock of Homewood. It was about as big and round as a telephone pole and maybe 30 to 60 feet in length. From what we could see of it, it didn't swim like a snake side to side. It was diving up and splashing down with its head and neck into the school of fish, which were leaping out of the water ahead of it. We were speechless for several minutes afterwards. Although rare, other sightings have continued to right up to the present, and considering there were no larger species of fish known to be in the Lake Tahoe that could account for these, in the lake, there could be no account for these. It is hard to say that what Tessie could be. Next, we come to the state of Wisconsin and its Rock Lake, where the natives of the area have had stories of a monster with a massive jaws that prowl the lake and its rivers, attacking and devouring people and animals. Since the 1800s, things got more publicized with reports of something very much like a serpentine dinosaur that is known for being quite aggressive. In one early sighting from 1967, a fisherman known only as Harbeck claimed to have been hissed at by the creature and that it had also dragged his boat along. After biting at one of his hooks. Interestingly, another fisherman named Fred Seaver was out trolling in the lake when the beast grabbed his line and dragged his boat for nearly a mile at a rushing speed. There are numerous other signs of the mysterious lake monster throughout the late 1800s, 1882. There was a rather spectacular and harrowing encounter reported by Ed McKenzie and D.W. Shavert. The two men claimed to have been rowing on the lake when a gigantic reptilian monstrosity with a head like a snake and drove under their boat at one point. Okay. Surfing scene right next to Mackenzie and prompting him to shout out for help to the people on shore in a panic, begging them to bring a gun as his companion screamed at him to fend it off with his oar. One witness at the nearby boat landing apparently actually did take his own boat out towards Mackenzie, aimed with a shotgun, but the creature was already gone when he arrived, leaving behind a wake and allegedly a nauseating odor. In 1943, there was a frightening encounter reported by a witness named Joseph Davis, who saw the creature rise up 7 feet out of the water right in front of his boat before diving under him down into the murk. To think about this, the nearby, if you find this cool and stuff like that, the nearby Red Sear Lake has also tales of a gargantuan 50 to 60 foot snake-like monster with a saw-like teeth, which some have theorized might be the same creature using some subterranean submerged passageway that connects the two bodies of water. The Red Cedar Lake monster was also seen mostly in the late 1800s and was known for being incredibly vicious. Okay, so young folks, I'm enjoying myself. Often blamed for killing livestock and for dragging people down to their deaths. One very bizarre and more obscure lake monster allegedly makes its home in a place called Harrington Lake in the U.S. State of Kentucky. The lake is not even naturally occurring. Instead, it created in 1925 when Kentucky Utilities built a dam like the Dix River for hydroelectric power generation. The Dix Dam, which is in its day was the largest earth-filled dam in the world, had the side effect of birthing Lake Harrington, which is the deepest lake in Kentucky. Considering that's an artificial lake, it is all the more bizarre that the body of water should be said to be the haunt of a rather curious creature. The Harrington Lake monster, its appearance is about as strange as you can get. Usually described as being 12 to 15 feet long, with a long body like an eel, with speckled coloration that's topped off it's probably a giant eel. Probably they existed in the river water and stuff like that, but then you basically make conditions for it. They actually become giant eels. I wouldn't be surprised. And here we have something like that, huh, folks? Like parents, yeah. with a head said to resemble that of a pig. It is outlandish, to say the least. The unlikely appearance has led to the creatures with their humorous nickname, the Ale Pig, making it even more spectacular still that it is said to be amazingly fast and keep pace with the fastest motorboats. Huh. Interesting. How much more of this do we have left before we go further? I'm just going to take a look down here. Maybe not that much. All right. Although seen since the lake was first created, the most well-known sighting was perhaps made by a University of Kentucky professor by the name of Lawrence S. Thompson. The professor was in a unique position to sight the creature as he lived right on the lake, and indeed he would claim to have seen it cavorting about on several occasions. The professor always maintained that it was absolutely real and that he was not just pulling a prank and having someone on his reputation make these bold claims brought a fair amount of other people out of the woodwork, claimed to have seen it in one sign from 1977. The witness says, 1950-77. Back in 1977, I was fishing with my uncle and his best friend during the day. We had put out a chimney rock, but I'm not exactly sure what part of the lake we were on when this happened. Something surfaced about 15 feet away from the boat. All we could see was its back, its color, and skin texture. It reminded us of a manatee, but it was much larger, and it swam like a whale or a dolphin. By this I mean all that ever came out of the water was its back. When it was longer than our boat and at least 3 feet wide from the top of it down to the water. Not sure how much of it was still in the water. We watched this thing for over 10 minutes in broad daylight. We never saw its head or its tail, and then it just disappeared. We were in such shock that we forgot that we had a camera on the boat. My uncle was there this past weekend and brought it up. Nobody ever believed us, so we just put it in the past. And no, we had not been drinking. Considering this is that no, that we had not been. So they hadn't been doing anything like that. Considering that this is a man-made, Considering that this is a man-made lake as well as the otherworldly appearance of the beast, it is hard to figure out what it could possibly be. It could be some sort of creature that got trapped in the lake within the building of the dam. Misidentified large species of fish like catfish, of which the lake is full of. Again, alligator, gar, or more likely is just an urban legend or hoax, whatever it is. There's very little in the way of any evidence for the Henderson Lake Ale Pig at all, and people should it should probably be thought of to be considered merely a curious piece of local lore, but who knows? Here's the lake. Interestingly, this is not the only lake monster said to be residing within a man-made lake. Perhaps one of the better known supposed lake monsters man-made lake is that has become known as Lake Norman monster of Lake Norman, North Carolina in the United States. The lake itself was created by the Duke Power Plant between 1959 and 1964 during the construction of the cavern of the Goins Fort Hydro Gorns Fort Hydroelectric Station, along with the Catawurma River, to bring electricity to the Piedmont region of the Carolinas, and has since been used by the Marshall Steam Station with a with a nuclear power plant for the purpose of collecting steams. Steam has been used by. Oops, damn it! I forgot my place. Electricity to the Piedmont region has been since used by the Marshall Steam Station, Macquarie nuclear plant, the nuclear plant, steam station, nuclear plant, for the purpose of cooling their steam-driven turbines. After initial construction, the resulting Lake Norman became the largest man-made body of water in the area, and with a surface area of more than 500 acres across 500 miles of shoreline, and has become a haven for fishermen, boaters, swimmers, and like that. and those looking for all manner of outdoor recreational path for the lake and the adjustment to Lake Norman State Park. It is also rather improbably known as being the alleged home of some sort of large water beast. For decades, people have been coming forward with signs of a large creature just described as being everything from a crocodilian reptile or some sort of seal-like creature with thick whiskers and prominent fins to some kind of giant fish to the more traditional snake-like humped sea serpent. Most sightings are of the creature swimming through the water, but there have been even more aggressive incidents, reports as scuba divers being aggressive, uh, snake like damn it. The creature swimming through the water, but there have been even more aggressive incidents. Reports as a scuba diver claimed that the creature attacked him and bit his flipper, as well as a report made by a man who claimed the monster brushed up against him while just skiing, leaving behind some sort of slimy substance that caused a severe rash. Right? One of Maiden, North Carolina, said his experience thus. About 10 years ago in high school, some friends and I made a bet. Well, or something like some friends and I were jumping down the Duke Power Trestle. We had been there for about 2 hours and making a lot of noise. I wanted to dive in, and I decided to make a huge splash. When I crossed the surface, everyone is like, get out of the water, yelling and screaming that someone was after me. I shrugged it off. And then after realizing that water 20 feet behind me was rippling, I started to swim like crazy. I reached the surface and climbed up the rocks and see a giant shadow under the water. It was at least 13 feet long. It surfaced a little more before finally going down. It had to be an alligator, Gar, but I couldn't imagine a fish getting that big. It looked like It looked like two people holding on to each other, swimming. So who knows what it was? Needless to say, I haven't been able to jump back. Haven't been back to jump from the trestle anymore. Okay. Such reports have continued up until very recent years. 2006 and 2007 saw an unusual spike in sightings of the bizarre monster. Sorry if I'm a bit tired, folks. Sorry about that. The first coming on January 22nd. By the way, folks, I'm back. I did another early. I'm not doing a very late stream tonight. That is, isn't it, right, folks? Tonight, I'm back to what I'm supposed to do, doing my live streams at 11 o'clock p.m. So at least we're not doing this around 3 o'clock a.m., but who knows? But that wasn't too bad. Anyway, let's get back to this article. I just wanted to comment that I was basically back to doing my video at 11 o'clock p.m. and stuff like that. But let's get back to this article. When Jeffrey here was out with his brother on the lake shore getting ready for a fishing trip, they heard a splashing in the water nearby and reportedly then saw a huge fish size of a shark or a dolphin with an enormous black tail. On February 1st, there was another report where a man named Sean Gwynn claimed to have seen some giant fish methodically pulling ducks under the surface one by one. Then on August 21st of the same year, two fishermen saw a massive creature languidly swimming at the surface that had eyes the size of basketballs and a striped, squirmy tail. In early 2007, a man known only as Tyler from Fox River Grove, Illinois, claimed to have he had been tubing in the lake when he fell off his tube and waited for the boat to come back around. As he did so, he says that a serpent-like head rose 5 feet out of the water about 40 yards away from his position, causing him to swim towards the boat in a panic. The driver of the boat apparently saw the creature too, and it disappeared under the water when the witness was aboard. Considering the man-made nature of Lake Norman, there seems to be a zero possibility that there is any sort of dinosaur-like creatures residing there, or any truly large creature at all. For that matter, yet there have been various theories proposed over the years as to what it might be, if anything. One of the most popular ideas is that these are introduced catfish that have reached truly gigantic proportions, which has been fueled by scattered reports of fishermen and divers carrying massive car-sized catfish lurking in these waters, particularly near the dam. Other ideas are out of place: alligators, alligator car, Asian carp, introduced sturgeon, all of which could be large enough and alien enough in appearance to stir those who saw them in the lake. More far out theories are that it's some sort of mutant abomination created by leaked radiation from the nuclear plant or some prehistoric monster lurking in the subterranean caves below the lake. With no physical evidence as yet, it is hard to say. In the meantime, the monster has become entrenched as part of a local lore, become affectionately known as Normie, joining the ranks of anomalous man-made lakes with their own reported monsters inherent in reservoir in Millennium Country, Kentucky, while supposedly home to a truly bizarre, interesting, truly bizarre creature. Stalking its depths, the lake was created in 1965 by the damming the Dix River. The creature was in this case purportedly has the appearance of an eel-like beast, typically around 15 feet long, with a curly tail and head reminiscent of that of a hog, and has become known as the incredible speeds at which it can travel. Indeed, is sometimes reported as easily pacing speedboats, yet is most believed to be a shy creature that prefers to keep it to itself near the dam and rarely shows much more than its pig-like snout protruding over the surface of the water. As bizarre as the appearance of the Ironman lake monster typically is, one recent sighting from 2015 seems to follow the mold of a more traditional lake monster sighting, in which local witnesses Martin Kensendorf described how one afternoon heard of his dogs barking, looked out to the lake and see a six-humped serpent of some sort offshore. He would say to this encounter, each hump was about 6 inches to a foot long. It was a nice sunny afternoon, and the surface of the lake was calm. I could see the water lapping against them. At that point, the humps started moving and submerged. Then a few yards to the right, I saw something straight like a log and brown moving quickly through the water. If it was a log, it was a log with a motor on it. The creature swam straight out on the surface like a fast fast propelled log. When it submerged, the whole body sank down at once, rather than the head driving down and tail sticking up. And it didn't see any feet, just a snake-like body. The creature has been theorized to be anything from the remnant population of some ancient species trapped in the lake when the river was dammed, an unknown creature hiding in the limestone caves or subterranean caverns that potentially dot the bottom, an introduced species, or even otters swimming in a line. No one really knows. In the end, pretty much the prognosis for all these cases, a big hodgepodge of lesser-known lakes, and even their lesser-known mysterious inhabitants. Why is it that so many large bodies of waters attract their own homegrown lake monsters? Are these all misidentifications, or is there something more to them? Whatever the case may be, they certainly show that the Loch Ness Monster is a company in the world, and that there are plenty of other unexplainable lake monsters that have fallen under the radar. Interesting little article there, folks. Let me go over here. I have an article right here to look at. Shadow dog sightings at Chippewa Lake, Ohio. During my recent appearance in Space Star Radio, I was questioned about shadow dogs. I asked the experiencer to forward the details. Here they are. Hi, Lon. Big fan of your appearance on SOR, your own podcast. I wanted to send you some info on the shadow dog. It's on lake in Ohio. Located at my cousin's house near Chippewa Lake, Ohio, at the end of the street. There was a creek I was visiting from Southern California, time period after 10 p.m., summertime, 2004. I was about 13. My cousin's white. Here's a time. Here's how the events happened. My cousin's white dog escaped the house and started. Let me do that. My cousin's white dog escaped the house and started running down the lake near the creek. My cousin and I were chasing it and stopped at the edge of the road. The creek and dog were about 20 yards or less away. As we were calling the dog, a black shadow dog ran in between us and my cousin's dog. The shadow dog was silent as it ran, and it blocked our view of my cousin's white dog as it passed in between. My cousin looked at me. Did you see that? We both agreed it was an actual physical thing, not just a shadow cast from something moving nearby. We got the dog and ran back to the house. Shadow dog description, probably about the size of a German Shepherd, but with a more wolf-like shaped head. The blackness of the dog was like the lack of color or of a matte black. I didn't see hair, but I couldn't see it through it. My cousin's dog was white, so I think we should have been able to see through the shadow. But dog, if it was just a shadow cast by a car or something, the town was small, so I don't think there were any cars nearby. My cousin's dog did not react. Earlier that day, we had gone to an abandoned amusement park nearby with my uncle, my mother, my other my other my other paranormal experience in my life happened after we went to an abandoned saloon. Wanted to point out this in its case. It's a common sign or something. I have a report seen of a black figure move silently over a gravel in Arizona. Would you be interested in that report? Not sure if you're just focused on Great Lakes region. Okay, that was interesting. We looked at some very mysterious creatures tonight and having some fun. We looked at a bunch of various odd things, but I'm going to have to end this live stream because we're coming to the end, folks. But we had some fun, looked at these creatures and odd things that go on in the night, and having with this cryptid Carney, with this cryptid stream tonight, and having some fun, huh, folks? Now, please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics, they're bad for you, okay? The there in the title is misspelled. It's THERE, so it's easier to find. You just put misspelled there in the title, and it'll take you directly to my YouTube channel, THERE. That's Read Comics That Are Bad for You, okay? All right? Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that like button because it really helps me fight the algorithm. So the more people that see my content means my graphic novel Scumdogs comes out all the sooner. Yeah, hit that like button, folks. Let's see. Yeah, leave some comments down below because I want to hear from you guys, as well as please hit that bell. Hit the part of the bell that will give you all future notifications for my videos. Please go share this video out on Twitter and Facebook. And also, please go over and subscribe to Stitched Together Pics. Stitched Together Pics is a YouTube channel that deserves far more subscribers. It's a great YouTube channel. You're going to love his reviews of movies. He plays this character called a maniacal cinephile who basically has multiple personality disorder, so you're not just getting one character, you're getting just plain old fun. As well as, please go over and subscribe to Creepy Little Book. Creepy Little Book is like the Art Bell radio show. He does little videos talking about high strangeness, but he also does live streams every night. On weekdays, he live streams at 12:30 a.m., and on weekends, he live streams at 12 o'clock. On weekdays, he live streams at 12:30 a.m., and on weekends, he live streams at 10 o'clock p.m. He talks about aliens and ghosts and learns so much from watching his live streams. They are just great. He talks about paranormal things. He talks about spirits. He talks about aliens. He talks about ultra-terrestrials. He talks about monsters that live in the woods. Go and subscribe to Creepy Little Book. Also, please go over and subscribe to Robot Co-op. Robot Co-op is like Mystery Science Theater 3000. They do these live streams with these robot puppets that are just fun. When you're watching them play video games, they use these robot puppets that basically make jokes and have a lot of fun doing it. So you're just having a good old time when you're watching them do these live streams. Go and subscribe to Robot Co-op, okay? All right. Remember, folks, I'll be back again tomorrow around 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 11 o'clock p.m. for another live stream. So be sure to come back again then. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me, folks.